Investor Report. The first 50 callers also receive this free DVD on America's growing debt and how silver can help. Call 1-800-516-5224 now.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gretchen Carlson. Coming up on The Real Story, as the FCC weighs whether to put operatives in America's newsrooms to see what stories are being covered, should the White House speak up on this issue? We debate. Plus, police are on the hunt for a man who stole a car with a baby in the back seat, and they need your help. And a Girl Scout is selling these cookies outside of a pot clinic in California. Smart and savvy or over the top? Our men's panel chews on that, all in The Real Story. Don't miss it. Top of the hour.
Now we have a Fox's alert for you. The White House saying that President Obama is set now to speak by telephone with Russian President Vladimir Putin about that fragile peace deal that is aimed at halting the violence in the Ukraine. You see live photos right now down at Independence Square in the Kiev. You know, the unrest has been seen as a confrontation between the East and the West. The president has tried to play that down. White House Press Secretary Jay Carney just spoke moments ago.
What's the president's message for President Putin today in our phone call?
The president either is right now or is about to speak with President Putin. And obviously they will talk about Ukraine.
Well, the White House says that it welcomes this peace deal, but does acknowledge that a lot more has to be done to ensure that there is a peaceful transition to some type of reform in the Ukraine.
At this hour, we're awaiting a court hearing for an Irish nanny that's accused of murdering a baby that was in her care. Aisling Brady McCarthy's hearing is expected to begin in moments in Massachusetts. She is accused of the death of the baby that was taken to the hospital with severe head injuries on her first birthday. The little girl died 2 days later. Defense attorneys are saying, though, that 2 medical experts found the girl suffered bone fractures 3 to 4 weeks before she died when she was not in McCarthy's care. How did this case get to trial? Jonna Spilborn, David Wohl, both defense attorneys. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Hi,
so,
Jamie.
Jonna, the grand jury gave the go-ahead to pursue these charges to trial. But would you say that reasonable doubt has at least been raised by the fact that the child had similar and severe prior injuries when this nanny was not taking care of her?
So, good point. But the job of the grand jury really isn't to figure out whether there is reasonable doubt. They're there to find out if there's enough evidence to go forward to trial. Do we now know the theme of the defense for this nanny? Absolutely. She's going to say, I didn't cause the injuries, so somebody else did it. But you know the strange thing is, Jamie, typically when you have especially infant deaths, the issue usually isn't the cause of death, because that's pretty easy to determine. The issue is usually manner of death. Did the child die by accidental asphyxiation? Did he fall off a counter and crack his head open? But that doesn't seem to be where the nanny's going with her defense.
So, David, what could be their defense? You know, I had, interestingly, a very interesting case years ago of a little boy who had multiple fractures, and it turned out he had osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a bone disorder where you get frequent fractures. You just touch your baby, and it could fracture a leg. Obviously, they'll do their job to make sure this baby didn't have any condition that would help the defense, but what does the prosecution have to do?
Well, that's brittle bone disease, Jamie, and yeah, there's no indication of that here. Essentially, the cause of death was diagnosed as shaken baby syndrome. And one of the symptoms of shaken baby syndrome is spinal fractures. Doctor says spinal fractures happened 3 or 4 weeks ago, and that when the nanny had no contact with the child was halfway around the world with the child's mother, and the mother had full custody. So the question now is, did the head injury, which was essentially the targeted cause of death, also happened 2 to 3 weeks ago and before the death? Now, I've had cases where shaken baby syndrome results in subdural hematomas, retinal hemorrhaging, but not in death right away. So it's feasible that it could have happened that long ago, and then the child died 3 or 4 weeks later. That's where the defense is going. That could raise reasonable doubt, as you said.
So, Jonna, this is a very complicated element to prove. What's the standard for the prosecution in terms of tying the earlier injuries to this nanny? Is it essential for conviction?
No, I don't think it's essential at all. Forensically, the prosecution is going to have to sewed together what happened immediately prior to this injury. As David pointed out, this is a case of shaken baby syndrome. A baby can live up to maybe 2 days after that happens, but not a month. So I don't think the prosecution is going to have a hard time at all proving that the cause of death is going to be whatever happened within the day or two prior to this baby actually dying, and the nanny was the only one there.
Got to leave it there, guys. David Wohl, John
Sad.
Spilber, great analysis. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Eric?
And coming up, take a look at this.
A pig makes an incredible discovery that shocks its owner and leaves a big question. What's a grenade doing in its pen?
Edward Jones.
With nearly 7 million investors,
Oh, hey, Neil. How are you?
you'd expect us to have a highly skilled call center.
Kevin, Neil Hawley's on line 1.
Okay, great. And we do. It's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.
When you have diabetes like I do, you want a way to help minimize blood sugar spikes, support heart health, and your immune system. Now there's new Glucerna Advance with 3 benefits in 1.
New Glucerna Advance from the brand doctors recommend most.
With AT&T's new pricing for families, you get 4 lines on AT&T's network, including unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 10 gigs of data to share.
10 gigs?
10 gigs, all for $160 a month.
You know, I think our family really needed this. It's really gonna bring us closer together.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep.